I never thought a single night could change the course of my entire life. I was happily married, or at least I thought I was, until one unexpected evening turned everything upside down. It started as a simple work event, an annual gala that my boss, Jacob Harrison, hosted for a company. I had attended every year, always with my husband, Michael, by my side. But this year, Michael was out of town on business, leaving me to go alone. Jacob had always been charming, the kind of man who commanded attention the moment he entered a room. At 45, he was older than me by a decade, exuding confidence and authority. I respected him immensely, and while I couldn't deny he was attractive, I had never thought of him beyond our professional relationship. That night, however, something shifted. The evening started off as usual, cocktails, mingling, and polite conversations. But as the night progressed, Jacob and I found ourselves in deep conversation. He was more relaxed than usual, his guard down as he shared stories about his past and his struggles with loneliness despite his success. I found myself opening up in ways I hadn't before, confessing that my marriage had lost some of its spark over the years. The more we talked, the more intense the connection became. His hand brushed against mine a few times, lingering just a second too long. The air between us felt charged, an unspoken understanding passing between us. When the event ended, he offered to drive me home, claiming he didn't want me taking a cab alone at such a late hour. Against my better judgment, I agreed. During the ride, the tension was palpable. When he pulled up in front of my house, instead of leaving, I hesitated. He turned to me, his blue eyes searching mine as he whispered, "I don't want this night to end." Before I could think, before I could rationalize, I leaned in. The kiss was slow at first, but quickly escalated into something desperate, something dangerous. What happened next was inevitable. I didn't stop him when he invited me back to his place. I didn't stop myself from crossing a line I swore I never would. That night was intoxicating, filled with emotions I hadn't felt in years. But as dawn broke, so did my illusions. The moment I stepped out of his apartment, reality came crashing down on me like a tidal wave. Guilt consumed me the entire ride home. When I walked through my front door, the familiarity of my home felt foreign. Michael called me minutes later, his voice full of warmth as he told me he missed me. The weight of my betrayal crushed me. I wanted to take it all back, but it was too late. The days that followed were agonizing. Jacob and I avoided each other at work, pretending as if nothing had happened. But secrets have a way of unraveling, and mine did in the worst possible way. Michael found out. A misplaced text message, a slip-up on my part, and suddenly, the walls of my marriage came crumbling down. He confronted me with tears in his eyes, his voice shaking with disbelief. "Why?" he asked, the pain evident in every syllable. I had no answer that could justify what I had done. No excuse that could undo the damage. Michael packed his bags that night, leaving me alone with my regret. As for Jacob, he distanced himself. What was an emotional connection in the moment was now a burden neither of us wanted to carry. My job became unbearable, whispers following me through the office. I resigned within weeks, unable to face the consequences of my actions. One night, one mistake. That was all it took to shatter the life I had built. The momentary lapse in judgment led to irreversible consequences. The guilt was overwhelming, an anchor weighing me down every day. I replayed the night in my mind repeatedly, wondering if there was ever a moment I could have stopped it, turned away, saved everything I lost. Michael's absence in my life was a daily reminder of my choices. The loneliness was suffocating, but I knew I had no one to blame but myself. I tried reaching out to him a few times, hoping for some form of closure, but he refused to speak to me. His silence was louder than any words he could have said. It screamed of pain, of betrayal, of an end to a love that I had taken for granted. Jacob, too, moved on. He never explicitly said it, but I could tell he regretted that night just as much as I did. The stolen glances at the office, the uncomfortable silences. We both knew it had been a mistake. And yet, neither of us could take it back. The damage was done. I spent months in solitude, reflecting on my choices, trying to understand what had led me to that moment of weakness. I started therapy, hoping to heal the wounds I had inflicted on myself and those I loved. It was a slow, painful process, but necessary. I had to learn to forgive myself, even if Michael never would. Time passed, but the scars remained. I eventually found a new job in a different city, far from the memories that haunted me. I focused on rebuilding myself, on becoming a better person, on ensuring I never made the same mistake again. But the past had a way of lingering, a constant reminder of the consequences of one night that changed everything. Regret is a heavy burden to carry, and mine was a lifelong sentence. I lost my marriage, my stability, and a piece of myself that I would never get back. One night with my boss shattered my world, and I would spend the rest of my life trying to pick up the pieces.